Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're having a great day so far. So today I am doing another I am not buying that video. I don't want that. It doesn't appeal to me. That thing, no thank you. Definitely not. I don't want it. I don't like it. And here's why. So first up is the Huda Beauty Mercury Retrograde palette. That one. Now, when I first saw this, I thought this is pretty. This is beautiful. I have two Huda palettes, the Desert Dusk and the New Nudes palette. The New Nudes is one of my favourite palettes. I love the shades in there. I love the tones in there. The first thing when I saw this palette is I thought it's really, really pretty, but I instantly thought, I don't need it. And the reason I don't need it is because of those other two palettes. Obviously in her same formula, I feel like between those two, or even mainly just between the New Nudes palette, I have pretty much every shade in here already. I love the packaging, the shades are beautiful. I really like her formula. So for that reason, if you don't have those palettes, it might be a good purchase for you. But yeah, if you do, I don't think you need this. I think it's very similar to her existing palettes. Now I want to show you a picture from my friend Makeup Crazy on Instagram. She has a great account. If you are guilty of buying things because you think you need them or you have FOMO, she's a very good kind of sense check, because she's always posting why you don't need something and what you have that's similar, things like that. So yeah, go check her out on Instagram. So she posted this photo which I thought was perfectly summed up this palette. So this is basically the kind of pops of colour in this palette deleted out, blocked out. And when you see that, you will realise that you have every shade in this palette times 400. It's only really those four kind of greeny tone shades at the top that offer anything slightly different at all, really. And those are the shades that I won't use. So I definitely don't need this one. Next up, the Jeffree Star by Shane collection. I'm going to specifically talk about the two eyeshadow palettes because I think the rest we've definitely, you know, seen before. With the eyeshadow palettes, with the mini one, it's not my colours at all. I wasn't really attracted to that mini one at all. With the larger one, when I first saw it, I almost thought I might buy that. I might get that. I've never tried Jeffree's eyeshadow formula before, so I don't know. I have heard really, really good things. I think I've pretty much only heard good things about his eyeshadow formula. Usually his eyeshadow palettes do not appeal to me at all. They're much too colourful, much too exciting, much too interesting for me. I'm like a neutrals, you know, everyday, boring as hell, very, very basic kind of eyeshadow chick. Eyeshadow isn't really my product. It's very low on the list of priorities for me. So yeah, normally his eyeshadow palettes are easy passes because they're bonkers colours, very, very colourful, obviously perfect for people who love colour, but that's not me at all. But this one actually had lots of more muted shades in there. It had a really nice colour story. I think it's gorgeous. I think it's beautiful. The packaging, I love it. I find it like so different to other packaging. I just think they smashed it out of the park. I think they did a great job. However, the more and more I looked at this palette, the more when I was trying to look at it and mentally put looks together, and I was really struggling. There was lots of shades in there on their own that I would love to use on my eye. So in particular, Conspiracy, which is the sort of light greeny shimmer, sort of olive shimmer. Pigment, which is the one with the little pig, the pink, that looks gorgeous. I love that deep purple, the Not a Fact shade. There's some shades in there that I don't really have anything like. So like the Illuminati, that gorgeous deep green, the spiraling shade. Lots of unique shades in there, lots of gorgeous shades in there. However, when I look at that palette and think, what looks would I put together, I start to struggle. I start to miss certain things. There's a sort of really deep like type of black shade, is it, in the bottom right? But I want kind of richer, warmer, deeper mattes in there that I'm missing from that palette. In order for me to make a cohesive look, I'm kind of missing those things. And I can make a few, sure, but as I'm kind of looking in there, I'm like, there's at least 3 shades I won't use. So the bright green, the blue matte, and probably Diet Cola. I'm not going to use a huge amount those shades. There's also the really, really bright shades that I won't use very often. And then to try and make a muted, more soft glam, more my style type of look, I'm then missing shades. So that's why I decided against picking that one up. And frankly, Thank goodness, because they had enough problems. The last thing they needed was somebody else buying that palette on that day, honestly. At one point, I just wanted to get on Beauty Bay, not to look at that, just to do something else, and I couldn't get on for about an hour. And I was just like, guys, can you start separate websites, because I just want to look at concealers. Next up, the Morphe Hit The Lights palette. So this is a collab with a few influencers. One of my favourite Twee, if you don't know her, she is hilarious. I love her. So this is a collab with Morphe and then 4 influencers. So we've got Twee, who I've already talked about, Victor, Bianca Loves Makeup, and Kaylee MUA. So if you don't know those makeup artists, they are just all incredibly talented. I think the palette looks gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. And what I think this palette does incredibly well is if you're a beginner, you don't really have many eyeshadow palettes, if you are looking for a present for a teenager, I think this is like incredible, because it's literally got everything you could possibly want or need in there. It's a really nice big palette. It doesn't have a mirror, which is a shame, but obviously that does keep the price down. So there's that. It's also got a whole row of highlights in there. So I feel like a starter, why did I say it like that? I feel like a starting out makeup user, a makeup artist who's looking to build up their collection, a teenager who loves those makeup artists, or who again just is looking for a first eyeshadow palette. I think it ticks all of those boxes incredibly well. For me, it doesn't tick my boxes because I have, you know, most of those shades. The ones I don't have are because I won't use them. So it's not a me type of palette, but I totally see the attraction for other types of people. Next up, a very weird one, and this is from Pop Socket. So this is a pop socket, you know, those things that you chuck on the back of your phone so you can rest your ring finger and while you take selfies, I guess. I mean, I can't say I've ever needed one, but lots of people have these. And this is a lip balm inside one of those pop sockets, which when I first saw it, I was like, I just thought that is genius. What a great idea. It's cute, it's fun. I can see loads of like tweens and teenagers with those, and it being a big thing around schools. And I just thought it was really cute and fun, and what a great idea, especially like a little stocking filler around this type of year. But then I looked at the comments on Trend Mood and people were fuming. I didn't realise this was going to be so controversial, but apparently this is a germaphobe's nightmare. So obviously we know our phones are very germy, they're covered in germs, they're on our faces, on our ears, you know, we're slobbering over them. What? They're dirty, our phones are dirty, and apparently some people carry around like antiseptic wipes all the time to clean their phone. I mean, I don't, but apparently that's a thing. And this is a germaphobe's nightmare. Now it does have like a shutting case that goes over the top of it. So I was like, you know, it's not just open with all these germs going in it all of the time. But apparently this doesn't matter. If you're a real germaphobe, this is like your nightmare. And people were very upset, very stressed about it. There was all kinds of drama going off on Trend Mood's comments just for once, just for a change, you know. Who knew it was just going to be a lip balm, and I thought it was just going to be a fun idea, but nope. Next up, the Covergirl Skin Milk foundation, and me, as long with everybody else under this post, thought it said skimmed milk, but it says skin milk. Yeah, so I can't get Covergirl here in the UK, so I can't buy it. If I wanted to, I'd have to spend, you know, 5 times more to get it here. So it's not an option for me for that reason, but my God, that shade range. It's a light cover, in their defense, the one defense I'm going to give them is it's a light coverage foundation. So I'm sure they're going to say, oh, it's, you know, it's a light sheer, you know, it adjusts your skin tone or something like that. But honestly, that is pretty poor. That is just not acceptable. It also has coconut milk in it, and I mean, so many people I know, this is a new thing for me, I didn't realise, but apparently lots of people are allergic to like coconut products in skincare and in makeup. So why on earth are you going to put it in a foundation for? Just don't. You didn't need to. You could have left it out, and lots more people wouldn't be walking around with hives and rashes all over their faces. So for those 2 reasons, that is a definitely not in my book. Next up, oh, I've been agonising over how to pronounce this. I don't know whether to say DoDow or DoDow or doo-doo or doo-doo-doo, 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 what? Sleep Aid, whatever that word is, Sleep Aid. When I first saw this, I was like, oh, this is going straight on my Christmas list, because I am a really proper bad, hardcore insomniac. I don't sleep very well at all. It takes me hours and hours. Once I'm asleep, that's me, I'm done. You won't see me for weeks sometimes. But to get to sleep takes me hours, like hours and hours. So I'm just like lying there, you know, watching Love Island Australia on my phone and all kinds of other things. And believe me, I've tried. I know people are going to be like, oh, you shouldn't be on your phone. But honestly, it doesn't make any difference. I tried my Kindle instead, and I've got blue light filters. I've tried everything. I've tried sleep sprays, etc. But yeah, I don't sleep well, or don't go to sleep well. I'm a night owl. I don't get tired until like 3 in the morning, and then I want to sleep until 3 p.m. But sometimes my kids won't let me. So this, for me, I thought this is the answer to all my prayers. And then I started to think about the practicalities of this. So at the moment, what I do is I put my phone on some ASMR videos and I just leave it playing them, and I close my eyes and I can hear it. And even though I might not sleep for a very long time, at least I'm kind of relaxing and I'm resting. That's kind of how I think of it. This thing is a light, which apparently, so it beams this little relaxing light onto the ceiling, and it swirls, so it's kind of almost like hypnotizing you a bit, it's relaxing you a bit. It's also designed to kind of stop you thinking thoughts, processing lots and lots of thoughts, which I know for lots of people is why they're not going to sleep. It's not my problem. I'm lying there with a completely empty head, just not asleep. I don't have thoughts. That's not my issue. I'm not lying there thinking and worrying and stressing about, you know, what's for dinner tomorrow, what clubs are we getting. That's not me at all. I don't care. I will just wake up and we'll find out what's happening that same day. But I know lots of people, for you, that might be very effective in that case. My major issue with this is, one, I have to have my eyes open for it to even work whatsoever. So that's a problem, because I'm going to sleep, so I want my eyes to be closed. My second issue is I am a face sleeper. I lie on my front to sleep, and I either have my face to the side or my face in my pillow. And I know that's bad for aging, but I don't care. I just want to be comfortable. It may make me look older, but at least I'll be well rested, you know? It's a catch-22. That's how I sleep. I can't change it. I definitely can't sleep on my back, which this light will only allow you to lie there on your back looking up at it with your eyes wide open. So that's where I have a problem. Next up, these Pat McGrath lip balms. Now, don't get me wrong, they look good. The whole all black, very chic, very sexy, very Pat McGrath. Just everything about it is like sophisticated, classy, with a little bit of sex thrown in there, you know? Oh, this has got weird. However, this ultimately is a lip balm, and it costs £37. Now, I'm willing to pay £37 for a foundation because it covers my entire face. I'm willing to pay £37 for an eyeshadow because, or not an eyeshadow palette with, you know, loads of shadows in there, but not for a lip balm. I can't do it. I've been using nipple balm for years and my lips are soft as anything, and it costs £3 from Boots. So I can't buy that, I'm afraid. I just can't do it. Next up, the Hourglass Ghost Unlocked palette. I'm only bringing this up because I just want to throw it in everybody's faces about how smug I am that I was the first person to say that this was coming back, and everybody called me a liar, they dragged my name, they slandered me. I mean, they didn't really, but lots of people didn't believe me, and they said, oh, I haven't seen anything about it, it hasn't been announced. And I kept telling you, they're not going to announce it until they've sold a hell ton of all of their other palettes, the other palette that they released, the original Ghost, until that's pretty much gone, because they want you to buy both. So they're not going to release them both at the same time, because then you'll get a choice, which is great and nice for the buyer, and not so nice for Hourglass's pockets. Now, of course, they've dropped Unlocked, and so I will be accepting apologies, you know, to my door by way of flowers and chocolates. Just feel free. I won't be picking this up. I bought the Unlocked palette last year. This is the same palette as last year in not quite so nice packaging. I think it's a great palette. I love it, but I never ever buy like backups of things. I'd be surprised if this didn't come out next year again as well. I feel like this is going to become a thing, or they're going to make it permanent because everybody loves it. So yeah, and I'm not worried if I hit pan, if it runs out, I'll just let it go. That's how I like to live my life. I don't like to get attached to things that run out. So therefore, if it runs out, it runs out, and there are 5 billion others that are, you know, similar. So I'm just gonna have to live with that. But I do recommend it. I have a review from last year if you want to check that out. I think it's fantastic. If you don't have one of those palettes, they are a lovely item to have in your collection. They are a great thing to put on your Christmas list as well. But make sure that you let whoever receives your Christmas list know that it will sell out fairly quickly. So they need to get straight on that. Next up, this Huda Beauty makeup case. Now, I nearly bought this last year, and I think I might have put it on my Christmas list last year, but it sold out very, very quickly, so fair warning that it may well do the same again this year. My reason for not buying this is twofold. One, I now have another makeup case that I really like, but two, every review I read on this item from last year said the zips break like that. Like as they're coming around the corner, it's kind of tough to pull them and the zips break off, and then you're left with that stupid little nubbin of a zip, which you have to do, you know, manually instead of a nice pulley zip. Which is, I just hate it when that happens on anything. It drives me nuts, makes me cross. It happened to my handbag weeks back, my little tiny handbag that cost like £10, and I was fuming. Absolutely fuming, because it really hurts and it's really annoying. So that's why I didn't buy it. I don't know if they will have corrected that issue and this won't be happening again this year, but that sole bit of information is burned into my brain, so I don't want to buy it and have that happen to me, because it will just ruin Christmas. And last but not least, or maybe it is least, I don't know, and this is the Charlotte Darling palette, which I saw on my friend Jess FYI Beauty on Instagram yesterday, I think, whatever day this is, who even knows at this point. But I saw this and I was just immediately looking at it and I was like, there is nothing in here that in any way makes me want to buy this. It's just so... like everything I've seen a billion. I've got hundreds of every one of the shadows in there already, and I just don't see the point. It feels, I mean, Charlotte Tilbury, I love all her products. Her packaging is always gorgeous. Everything about it is going to be lovely and beautiful and pretty, but I definitely have everything in there hundreds of times over. So there was just nothing about this palette particularly that stood out for me, that made me want to spend my money on it, that made me want to grab it and pick it up. It was just like, meh. That's how I felt about it. Me. You know, that exact noise is how I felt about it. So there you have it. Those are the 10 items I'm the least interested in that I have seen this week. I would love to know what you guys think about these products. If you have any of them, if you're getting any of them. I know some of you guys are going to feel differently, particularly about the eyeshadow palettes, just because we all have different tastes and preferences and our collections are different. And that is all a-okay. And frankly wonderful, actually. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I would love to see you in the next one. Otherwise, take care for now. Bye 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 bye.